Hi folks, welcome back. Today we have another tiny new module day. I used to have in this little 2 HP slot a crossfader from Instro. Probably that way. Yeah, 1, 2. It was something I actually bought a long time ago to go in my palette case when I was setting that up to be a little mini drum machine. I ended up completely changing the direction of that case. And so far, this has mostly been a little filler module that is handy. It works great. It does what it needs to do. It stays out of the way as a 2 HP module should. And it's been fine. And as this case has been so close to being as polished as I can imagine it, it was one of the last kind of slots that could be replaced by something, that was fairly convincing or something that was worth a shot. And actually, this video took a little bit of time because I was waiting to make a different video because I thought I would have another separate new module to talk about instead. And that was the Blue Catch, I think I'm saying that right, endless processor that is 16 HP. So it would have taken the slot of this 2 HP and 14 HP beads. I was thinking about getting rid of beads for that. Got it, tried it. It's not for me. I recorded a whole video on it and then decided just to put it back up on Reverb. So that's sold and off to somebody else to enjoy. Cool little module. It just doesn't work in this case the way I hoped it would. So instead, what actually happened is I ordered this little module a long time ago before the endless processor, and it happened to show up on the same day. And it is the uncertainty from Olivia Artz modular. Olivia Artz modular. It's 2 HP. And it is, in its current firmware, essentially a series of random gates where you put in a gate at the top or a trigger. And as that goes high, each of the next outputs or next jacks are all outputs with lower and lower percentage odds of carrying that gate all the way down to the bottom. I believe that's how the firmware works. I think it's something like 99% at the top, 1% at the bottom. Maybe I'll do something fancy and overlay the percentages there. Maybe not. There's a couple other firmwares for this already. There's like a VU meter one. And I think what's really neat on the GitHub for this module, there's even a little tutorial on how to make your own that actually has full code in like 20 lines or something like that. Ridiculously short of a fully functioning kind of module for that. So that'll be a fun little project. Maybe I'll make my own firmware there at some point. But I think it slots in this case really well. It adds some randomness that this case really doesn't have yet. And it is the right kind of 2 HP module and one that you can, patch up and then you don't have to touch it. You have to get your finger in there. You don't have to try and like twist a tiny knob. This, same with the high pass down here. Great. Good uses of 2 HP. Even this thing with its fader is maybe a little too much. I'm trying to do too much in 2 HP. It still is nice, but I think this is the only kind of 2 HP usage that I am into. So this patch, I'm not going to do a patch from scratch. I've been playing with this for quite a while. I think I originally recorded some toy piano onto the looper. That is routed into the matrix mixer. It is essentially one tiny super short little grain on the looper. The matrix mixer spreads it around the case. And what I have going on is kind of a instability machine, I'm calling it. And that is entirely due to how uncertainty works. So I'm using Oct and the repression comparator to generate a little clock that actually has different speeds depending on where I'm at on pressure points. So pressure points, kind of one of the rows is clocking. I think it's that second row is clocking Oct. One of the other rows of pressure points is controlling pitch of beads and of panharmonium. And then the last row is controlling the location of the loop on the looper. There we go. Of which kind of grain to play, because it's just playing an extremely short little loop, because I wrote my own preset for this that fix a bunch of the issues I've been having with it. Super tiny grains, remove some of the frequency limiting to make it sound like tape, and lets you go, fully low. So that clock, that one clock, is kind of driving everything, and it's being passed into uncertainty, where a high likelihood of a low end panharmonium through Optimix strike is going to come through, and then a lower likelihood of a higher end, higher filtered version of that same strike, and then beads slightly less likely to occur of kind of plucking and seeding beads, and then extremely low likelihood clocking to the next step on pressure points. So as this pressure points patch, the slot here is chosen, the clock is very slow, so the dice rolls aren't happening very frequently. Up here, the dice rolls happen much more frequently, so frequently that a 1% chance of that being high actually happens, right? If I'm giving it, 100 gates within a second or so, good chance one of them will make it to the bottom, trigger that high, and move to the next one. So that's why I kind of call this a bit of an instability machine, where it'll slowly creep on its own up. It's really meant for me to kind of play with, but as we move this way, it'll start to pull the patch higher and higher to the point where it's almost guaranteed to kick back around to the next one. So let's hear some stuff. We shall start with, I think, just beads. Let's see here. And that's this seed cable going kind of into about halfway down of uncertainty. So it's a regular rhythm, but it's just skipping some of the spots, doing some rests instead of playing those notes. If we bring in, send some signal to panharmonium, which is pitched way down. Beads is up a little bit. Panharmonium is, several octaves down. I also have the matrix mixer set up to kind of have the guillotine as this kind of send. So I'm going to put some signal over the guillotine, which is going to come back around and into panharmonium too. And let's bring in some Starlab to really push it. Now I don't have a quantizer in this, so the pitch selection is not going to be in tune, and that's kind of the point. Obviously the rhythm is picking up. It's kind of hitting that 1% odd or 1% chance to move the step over. Maybe let's send a little bit of the distorted signal into beads too. Get close to one of those last 2 to 3 slots on the dual pressure point setup, it just kind of carries it around, and you get back to this kind of low rhythm. It's not quite a build and drop in the traditional sense. That really happens, a lot in the B case, but it is this more unstable, whatever. Weird, chaotic thing kind of takes over for you. from crack, I can't remember how I decided to pronounce that, just into the mix. And then I'm also using some of the noise super attenuated on the speed of the looper, just to make the original signal a little more wobbly, even though I'm literally just playing this tiny little snippet of a tone. Give you a glimpse of what the original loop actually sounds like here. Pull the other signals out. Maybe let's turn, the second row of pressure points is controlling the speed of oct, which is our clock speed of what's really driving everything through uncertainty. So if we turn all of these up, let's see how kind of chaotic we can get this. We'll turn the original mix down. One of my favorite things on Starlab is square wave on the filter, speed cranked, and then bring it down. I don't know why I like that so much. Not sure where I'm going right now. It's kind of weird space sounds. We'll bring bring some of the decay back. It's 2 HP. What is there to complain about? It's great. Till next time. Peace.